Today, I'm going to show you how automation solves painful manual process that used to take more than half day to a couple of minutes. So it is an ingredient ordering system for the chef. So the way how the manual process works is that the chef prepares the recipe that they want to cook in weekly basis. Once they have decided which recipes, now they need to get all the ingredients that they need. Usually they go to the platform and then they downloaded the database of ingredients that they need in Google Sheet format or spreadsheet. Once they downloaded those spreadsheets, they manually copy paste each ingredient to a spreadsheet, then map it to each supplier. Each supplier is unique. They cater for a very specific ingredients only. Once they prepared all those lists of ingredients that will be sent to supplier, then they will manually email them. So this process takes a lot of time and effort because on each week they normally have to prepare a dozen of recipes, and it could take about at least 1,000 of ingredients in weekly basis. And the problem with that one, again, it takes almost one whole day to copy and paste the ingredients manually. And also it is prone to human error. The next step is I'm going to show you a demo of how I solve that problem through automation. Come, I'll show you how. The list of ingredients are downloaded from the database, and this is what the spreadsheet looks like. The ingredients and the grams are connected in one cell, and there's a category for each of those ingredients. We don't really need a category, but for the sake of understanding which context that this particular ingredient goes to, I just included the category. And then now I'm here in the N8N, the workflow automation that I'm using to send out an email to the supplier once it's ready. Let's do that. So let's run this. So I will execute the workflow and then going to merge the data, organize it, and then from here, order approval. I'm going to my Telegram, and this is the list of orders. Woolsworth typing, red meat, and then I'll just approve it. Approve the order. It creates the spreadsheet. So now what happened was, after I approve the order of the ingredients, it sends out an email to the suppliers. So here, this is my personal email account. You can see the orders to typing. So I'm going to order a couple of ingredients to typing and send it out to them. And this is the list of orders. Let's go to another one on this another platform. So these are the list of orders for Woolsworth. Again, this is just an example with all those ingredients that I pick. And then another one from the red meat shop. It's just a random supplier name. Okay, that's pretty much how the workflow works. This saves a lot of time for the chef to manually mapping out the ingredients and send it out email to each of the supplier. So next step is we are going to break through the step-by-step process of how this automation workflow works. So going back here, so again, we have the list of ingredients downloaded from the database, and it looks exactly what you can see here from the spreadsheet. Then I'll go to my workflow automation. What happens here is on the first part is more of a data manipulation. We need to separate the ingredients and the grams. That's the first step. And the nodes here does those. The another part here is the supplier. So I created a list of suppliers with their email address and the name and the contact details. I have to list down all those suppliers' name. So there could be about 10 or 20 or 100 suppliers and with all those emails. And this is just a one-off setup. If they have to do some changes, they can, but it's good enough for this particular project. Once I created the list of supplier name and email address, the first sheet here or the tab is I have to set up the ingredients manually. Each ingredient will be linked to a unique supplier, which is, you can see here, is like a drop down here that is connected to the contact details here. And then the list of email addresses. Since the ingredients are fixed, once you set up all the ingredients, the chef don't need to go back and forth and make changes. This is just a one-off setup. So this is the reason why I created this supplier list. And it's easier for them to make those changes along the way with this Google Sheet. Going back here, once we map the ingredients to the supplier, we merge the data here. So it merged the data from this ingredient, let's say cheese, and it's linked up to this cheese, the ingredient from this particular supplier. Then, as you might be aware of, the supplier list with the ingredients could be thousands. There could be just 500 ingredients that needs to be ordered. So we need to find a way to filter those ingredients that we only want to order for the suppliers. So I'm using grams as a way to filter those ingredients that we only need to order. Once we identified which particular ingredients that we want to order, it updates the Google Sheet. And this Google Sheet is the order sheet, basically. It lists down the list of orders for that particular week of for the chef. So that includes like an ID of that particular ingredient, who is the supplier for that ingredients, the exact ingredient, how many grams they want to order, and the email addresses. Once the order sheet is created, someone needs to review the order before it gets sent out. And that's what the order approval works for the Telegram, which I showed you a while ago here. It sends out a chat notification to me, so I can use my mobile phone as well. I'll get those notifications. And then I can see the list of orders of ingredients for that particular week based on the supplier. This is what that looks like. If you approve it, that's the only time it will create an order from here. So it creates an order and loop overs, because we have to make sure that it sends out the emails one by one to each supplier. So that is how the loop over item works. It creates the spreadsheet for that particular supplier with all those ingredients, and then it needs to set up the header, which is the header here, the grams, the supplier name, ingredients, and grams. Once it appends and creates the header, it will create the list of ingredients, and it will prepare the email and the supplier details. Once done, it will download the Google Sheet. Once it's downloaded and merged with the supplier contact details, it will then send out an email to the supplier. And this is the Gmail node that handles that process. Once it's sent out an email, suppliers will be notified about the orders. And that's how this workflow automation works. This workflow automation saves a lot of time for the chef from manually mapping out the ingredients to each of the supplier every week. So the outcome is the chef saves a lot of time, from more than half day work to just a couple of minutes. It is also minimize the prone to mistakes. That's pretty much about this workflow automation works. So if you guys have questions or if you would like to inquire, please send me a message through my email address or send me a private message. Subscribe to my channel to learn more about workflow automation, AI, user experience, and WordPress. Remember, keep it clean, keep it simple. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.